The shimmering spires of the Zephyrian Imperial Palace soared into the golden-hued sky of Nexus Prime, their facades mirroring the dual suns that enveloped the capital in a perpetual dusk. In the towering spire, Emperor Vexthal moved restlessly through his private chambers, his steps heavy with urgency, while his forearms waved animatedly, causing his chief advisor to shrink back in fear. 17 caregivers, the Emperor's voice thundered, his textured skin transitioning from a rich purple to a furious crimson. 17 of the most skilled caregivers in the universe, and not a single one endured beyond 3 solar cycles with my little ones. The advisor, a slender being named Helen from the trading realm of Arcturus 7, twisted her 6-fingered hands anxiously. Your Imperial Magnificence, it may be prudent to reflect on the fact that young Dracolings are innately lively. Enthusiastic? The colossal head of Emperor Vexthal turned sharply to face Helen, his golden eyes aflame with intensity. The previous caretaker needed 3 weeks in a medical regeneration pod after young Zixara inadvertently sneezed plasma fire on her. The previous individual experienced a total mental collapse when Morden chose to hone his dimensional phasing skills during the designated rest period. As if called forth by their father's voice, a thunderous crash resonated from the nursery wing, accompanied by what unmistakably resembled the Imperial Guard barking commands to clear the East Corridor. Shortly after, the sound of playful laughter echoed through the palace's communication system. The thermal regulators are down once more, Helen noted, glancing at his data tablet with shaky hands. And the gravitational stabilizers are varying. Emperor Vexthal sank into his throne, a stunning creation hewn from a solitary meteorite. At this pace, I might need to call off the Galactic Trade Summit. I cannot leave my children without supervision, and no entity in existence appears to be able to overseeing them. It was at that moment that Anna emerged from the shadows by the grand entrance. The individual had been so silent that even the Emperor's heightened awareness had scarcely acknowledged her existence. She was diminutive by cosmic measures, standing at just over 5.5 feet, with the usual brown hair and ordinary features that allowed humans to merge seamlessly into the throngs throughout the universe. Your Imperial Magnificence, Anna declared, her voice unwavering as she spoke to the most formidable entity across 3 star systems. I am eager to offer my services for the position. The ensuing silence was so profound that the faint echoes of the baby dragon's latest escapade rang out with startling clarity. Helen's data tablet fell with a loud clatter onto the floor. The Emperor's colossal figure rose gradually, akin to a mountain choosing to focus its gaze. You, Emperor Vexthal, observed the human with a fresh perspective, fascination. Yet you possess a delicate and gentle nature. My offspring are Dracolings. They exhale flames, traverse through substances, and their emotional eruptions can disrupt the fabric of local space-time. Anna smiled, and in that moment, the Emperor found himself momentarily halted by the depth of her expression. It was neither trepidation nor doubt. It was the calm assurance of an individual who had encountered insurmountable challenges in the past and had come out triumphant. Your Excellency, I have perused the accounts concerning all 17 prior attendants. They all committed the same basic mistake. They attempted to exert influence over your children. And what would you change? The Emperor leaned forward, captivated, against his own better judgment. Anna responded, I would engage in the activities that humans excel at. I would adjust. Within the hour, Anna stood in the nursery wing, taking in the chaos that had overtaken what was once a meticulously arranged play area. Charred impressions adorned the walls in intricate designs. Numerous furnishings were integrated into the ceiling, while a substantial opening in the floor exposed the area beneath, where anxious attendants hurriedly moved with fire-extinguishing gear. The baby dragons were truly remarkable, each about the size of a house cat yet exuding a force that caused the very air to shimmer. Zixara, the eldest at just 2 years old, observed Anna with keen golden eyes, as tiny wisps of blue flame curled from her nostrils. Morden, just 1.5 years old, shimmered in and out of sight as he honed his dimensional skills, manifesting and vanishing at unpredictable moments. The youngest, Kethmore, scarcely 6 months old, hovered 3 feet above his crib, chuckling, as the laws of gravity appeared to warp around him. The other attendants retreated toward the exits, yet Anna moved with composure to the center of the room and settled cross-legged on the floor. The young dragons observed her with a keen and inquisitive gaze. "Greetings, dear children," she spoke gently. "My name is Anna. Allow me to share a tale with you." Zixara inclined her head, the flame softening to a warm flicker. Morden achieved complete solidification for the first time within hours. Even little Kethmore gracefully descended to the ground, though he kept a subtle lift. Anna started to narrate, crafting a story filled with excitement and camaraderie, featuring courageous champions in far-off realms. Yet, as she communicated, she performed an action that the former caretakers had failed to do. She shifted. Her hands crafted images in the atmosphere. Her voice danced through the narrative, echoing its cadence and flow. And above all, she included the children in the story. And then the courageous princess, reminiscent of Zixara, unleashed her fiery breath to illuminate the path through the shadowy cave. Anna recounted, while the small dragonling exhaled a gentle flame that filled the space with flickering silhouettes. The unseen warrior, shrewd as Morden, crept quietly by the slumbering behemoth. Anna pressed on, while Morden appeared and vanished, joining in with joyful chirps. And the youngest hero, strong like Kethmore, lifted the magical stone with his special powers. Anna concluded, while baby Kethmore made a crayon float gently through the air, his eyes bright with joy, as hours passed unnoticed. The young dragons gathered closely around Anna, their wild tendencies transformed into imaginative fun. As their restlessness mounted, she introduced them to games that allowed them to harness their skills in a secure manner. When hunger struck, she demonstrated how to harness their abilities to assist in meal preparation. As the hour for rest approached, she softly sang soothing melodies in the ancient language, her voice crafting an enchanting atmosphere of tranquility that even the Emperor's censors noted as remarkably serene. Emperor Vexthal discovered them in that moment as the twin sun dipped below the horizon, his offspring resting serenely in the presence of the human who had achieved what no other entity had managed. Anna lifted her gaze from her seated position. Zixara nestled in her lap like a large feline, Morden apparent and softly snoring against her shoulder, while Kethmore hovered delicately just above her open palm. "In what way?" the ruler murmured, cautious not to shatter the enchantment. Anna flashed that same assured grin. "Your grandeur, every race in the cosmos endeavored to impose their own ways upon your progeny. However, we, as humans, do not merely adjust to new surroundings. We discover methods to harmonize the unharmonizable. Your children should not be subjected to control. They require comprehension, provocation, and affection. They are more than mere hatchlings of the dragon kind. They are remarkable individuals with extraordinary talents." The ruler gazed at this diminutive figure who had navigated his most significant dilemma with sheer perseverance, ingenuity, and an endless ability to recognize possibilities rather than obstacles. In that instant, he grasped the reason behind humanity's expansion throughout the galaxy, despite their seemingly inherent physical constraints. They held something far more precious than mere power or innate armaments. They possessed a remarkable talent for uncovering answers in situations that others perceived as insurmountable challenges. "The role is yours," Emperor Vexthal murmured softly, "as long as you desire it." Anna nodded, carefully shifting her stance to ensure the slumbering dragons stayed at ease. "I require a selection of supplies, including art materials, musical instruments, and approximately 50 books of human children's stories rendered into galactic standard." Completed, the ruler consented without hesitation. As word of Anna's triumph circulated through the palace, then the system, and eventually across the galaxy, various species started to pay attention. The individual who mastered the Emperor's young dragons became a figure of legend, yet more significantly, she became the pioneer among humans who would demonstrate that often the most profound strength is found not in might, but in the insight to wield gentleness as a catalyst for transformation. In the years that followed, As the emperor's children matured into wise and compassionate leaders, they frequently reflected on the individual who imparted the lesson that true power does not equate to destruction. It signified possessing the resolve to select compassion, even when other options were available. The cosmos shall never again misjudge the capabilities of humankind.